Hey, what is up, nerds, geeks, and collectors alike? Today we are taking a look at the Baiwei Supreme Leader, and this guy is Baiwei's take on the Studio Series Sentinel Prime. Now, I for one am very excited to see at what they did in order to improve this particular figure. And here we have Supreme Leader out of packaging. Now let's bring in Studio Series Sentinel Prime in order to conduct a direct comparison. Well, as you can see here, Baiwei does have some additional paint that Studio Series is missing. But at the same time, there is some paint here that's missing that Studio Series has, like the silver on the chest. Now Baiwei has some gold on the lower torso. As you can see, they painted the thighs differently and they added some white on the feet, which is more accurate. Moving into the head sculpts, there is some major differences. From what I've gathered, Baiwei has the more accurate head. As you can see, even the antenna here is bent on Baiwei, while Studio Series is just plain and straight. And as you can see on the chest here, Studio Series used a more subtle, translucent, smoky black plastic, while Baiwei is a little more obvious. And for the backpack, Studio Series has this pin joint, while Baiwei has this mushroom peg. But that's more for the cape accessory later on. One thing I'd like to address is Baiwei weirdly did not copy this articulation, which could have given the alt mode a more flush finish. The only reason I can think of is they included the cape. I don't think they intended for this to be the default since people will be using the cape more often, so I suppose that's why they didn't bother. Another thing is they don't have the tab that the official one had. Right here, as you can see, there is a tab on Studio Series Sentinel Prime, but Baiwei also chose not to replicate that for whatever reason I do not know. And here we have the cape accessory. As you can see right here, it is made of this rubbery plastic, which is very bendable and it won't be breaking anytime soon. And in order to put this on Sentinel Prime, just slide it on the mushroom peg. And I gotta say, this looks a lot more flush, a lot more accurate, obviously. And I actually prefer this. I mean, who wouldn't? This is the better version of the cape. It does come with an adapter. And if you're wondering what the adapter is for, allow me to show you. Let me just put it on the cape right here. And let's bring in Studio Series Sentinel Prime. Now you can take this thing apart, but I am too lazy, so I'm just going to improvise and tug it in his back right here. You can take this apart for a cleaner look, but I'm not gonna have my Studio Series Sentinel Prime have this cape on. I'm gonna prefer it on the Baiwei. That's why I'm not really putting in much effort in putting this cape. Now what you want to do is just put it there on the slot. And there you have Studio Series Sentinel Prime with a more accurate cape. Now, it's a lot more bulky because, again, it's on a pin joint, so you can't really take off his original cape like Supreme Leader, but it's nice to have the option to do this. But then again, I do prefer it on the Baiwei since it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot accurate. I wish we could have taken off his default cape, but I don't think that will be happening anytime soon without some serious modifications and customization. Another neat accessory that Baiwei Supreme Leader includes with is this mini gun, like small gun, which you can peg right here on his left forearm. But the weird thing is, it's supposed to be on the right side, basing on some references from the movie as well as some concept art. It's supposed to be on the other side, but it is what it is. And the weird thing is, Baiwei chose to do this very weirdly because it's very different. The tab is very different from the one from the Studio Series. The Studio series has a thicker and longer tab, so you can tab this in properly. You can just make do with what you got. But he can hold it for some reason. He does have that 5mm port, which is universal for transformers. And yeah, it's very weird why they didn't allow us to put that on the original one. Now here we have his cosmic rust gun that he uses to kill Ironhide. And it does look pretty cool despite it being hollow plastic. It's still nice to have since it does complete his character, and as you can see, there it is. And of course, you can't have Sentinel Prime without his gigantic shield. From the time that I didn't have this upgrade kit, I did use Optimus Prime's shield, but this one is a lot better. I do wish that it has an adapter where you can hold it from there in order to have more playability with the shield. But since the port is just like that, I guess Sentinel Prime can only hold his shield like this until anyone decides to 3D print an adapter or Baiwei to release one that's included with another character related to Sentinel Prime, maybe Ironhide, I don't know. And of course, here we have his signature dual blades. His blade comes in 3 pieces, the 2 blades and the adapter and the middle, in order for him to have clearance to wield the blade. He can actually wield this two-handed, but of course we never see Sentinel do that. So yeah, but first let's take a look at this pathetic attempt of a blade, which I blame Hasbro. As you can see here, it's not even a fair comparison. You can just throw this at the side and be done with it and have this new and improved, more screen accurate blade. And I really like this piece because this is the blade we should have gotten in the first place. Unfortunately, mine came a little warped, but I might try to fix that with some hot water. It is hard plastic, so yeah, it's a risk, but it doesn't bother me that much since the blade looks pretty damn cool. I really like it a lot, and this really screams out Sentinel Prime. It doesn't get any better than this. I just wish for that adapter as well as the articulation on the water gun for his alt mode, but you know, for articulation his head can look left and right that much, up and down that much. He can do a 360 at the arms. He does have a elbow swivel right there, 90-degree bend, as well as a wrist swivel. He doesn't have articulation at the torso, but you can make one with his transformation gimmick if you really want to put in the effort. Right here, as you can see, you can access that swivel in order to achieve that lower torso swivel. So yeah, it does look a little weird. Well, you can try to make it look natural by putting it back down, but yeah, it's kind of difficult. And he does kick that far up, and then he can move that far back. Again, the kibble is restricting him. He can do the splits very well, as you can see right there. He does have this knee swivel, 90-degree bend, as well as some toe articulation, but that's more for the transformation. But hey, let's take what we can get, right? For size comparison, let's include Baiwei Star Leader version 2, which is Studio Series 32 Optimus Prime. And let's take in the measuring tape right here. Sentinel Prime stands just exactly 7 inches, and same goes with the Studio Series, though he appears a little shorter because I have the knees bent right there, and Optimus Prime stands a little below 7 inches, so there's a minor height difference. Now moving on to the transformation. here we have Sentinel Prime in his Rosenbauer alt mode, and I gotta say, I really like how Baiwei did this. There is a minor difference, which is here we have some screw holes which wasn't present on the original figure, and it does roll fairly well. I do like this alt mode, and I gotta say there's no difference in terms of the alt mode except for the mismatch of color right here between the two plastics, but that's just about it. I'm surprised that Baiwei decided to include the Rosenbauer logo as well as the original 316, which I gotta say is pretty ballsy on Baiwei's part, for legal reasons that is. For size, Sentinel Prime is 2.5 inches tall, and he is 7.5 inches long. But if you want to include the tip right here, he is a little above 8 inches long. So yeah, he is 1-to-1 with his Studio Series counterpart. In summary, if you missed out on the official Studio Series Sentinel Prime, this is the perfect opportunity for you to get one for yourself. Granted, you'll be missing out on the articulated water gun and the tab at the back, but then again, they're not a major deal, since with this guy, you'll be getting him cheaper with more paint, more accessories, and some die casts. So this is a major step up from the original release. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really after Sentinel Prime, the figure. I was really after the accessories. But having him on hand right now, especially during the transformation, with the Studio Series I had difficulty tabbing things together. But with this guy, he doesn't undo himself like my Studio Series. So it's safe to say that I'm actually having fun with this guy. If you're given the chance to get this or the original, I suggest you get this one instead, because you're really gonna have fun with this guy. So that's about it. Till next time, see ya.